Parmigiana.
I got it.
Yes. Take some pictures for the contest. I think it's beautiful. I think they know too. They see too the importance of what's going to be coming up. There is going to be a tourist attraction. It tells another story about this area. Another important story that hasn't been told. Thank you all for coming.
The company that is fabricating and or crafting the pedestal for the German-Bohemian monument in New Ulm. Yes. And this is the center section of the monument with the inscription. All hand is etched into a rubber mat, a stencil that's laid on the granite. And later today, that'll all be sandblasted into the stone. And here we have Diane, and she's cutting the rubber stencil. All the letters have to be cut by hand. Now Aaron is looking over the map. That's going to be etched into the back of the monument. And this is the base, the very bottom section of the monument. The monument are real artists. They specialize in historical renovations of gravestones and special artwork connected with granite materials. And they're standing in a corner all by themselves of the immigrant family statue, cast in bronze by Leopold Hafner. Pretty hard to see in the light here. But this will be the statue that will be standing on top of the entire structure, which all told the pedestal is over 7 feet. And the family will make it close to 12 foot tall. This is the granite slab, granite plates that will have all the family names listed that will go around the base of the monument. Over 350 names. You done? This wrought iron fence was designed by the president of the German-Bohemian Heritage Society, Paul Kretsch, and was crafted by the Halle family from Sleepy Eye, who also are German-Bohemian by ancestry. German-Bohemians were known. Here we are back at Bladel Monument, out in the 96-degree weather, getting ready to sandblast the center section of the monument.
Wir fahren nochmal runter und schauen mal an, weil es dann am Bauplatz. Was am Bauplatz, wie das so. Wir wünschen, wir hätten
without the highlight, it's just not very readable. Just get right up to it.
Leopold Hofner sculptor. God, I like the shape of that base.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
That was kind of silly. It is.
We'll begin at your extreme left, beginning with our mayor of New Ulm, Brett Wachowski, and his wife, Mary. The president of the Minnesota German-Bohemian Heritage Society, Paul Fresh, and his wife, Janice. My wife, Barbara. The founder of the Minnesota German-Bohemian Heritage Society, Mr. Robert Paulson, and his wife, Dorothy. Interpreter for this evening's program and a board member, Mr. Laverne Ripley, and his wife, Barbara. Sculptor of our monument, Leopold Hofner. And the leader of the Eagle Lantern Crossing Group, Rudolph Kiefner, and his wife, Maria. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the president of our organization, Mr. Paul Kretsch, who has literally poured his heart and soul into this project. Paul?
Thank you. Good evening. On behalf of all the Board of Directors of the Minnesota German-Bohemian Heritage Society, we welcome our members, our friends, and our guests. I'm off-the-cuff kind of a speaker. I just let it roll. But tonight I did make some notes. I'm probably still going to miss something that later on I will say to myself I should have said. I'm going to try and cover as much of it as I can. Really what I'd like to do right now is start jumping up and down. I'm very excited. We have been waiting for this moment for a very long time. And if I get emotional, I'm just going to let it roll. It's the kind of guy I am. It's tough right here. The monument that's going up tomorrow, it is up, that's going to be unveiled tomorrow. It's a shining example of what people can do when they all come together. I'll try to translate it in English after I've done saying that. And it says, Light, holding song, and Gavin Yadlasana. What that means is, people, let us hold ourselves together, let us not separate.
As you know, in Germany, where he is famous for many contributions to the German art world. I'm going to have Professor Laverne Ripley interpret as Leopold Hoffner addresses him. Mr. Hoffner and Professor Ripley. At this time, please welcome Rudolf Kiefner, leader of the Eberland Republic Group. Mr. Kiefner.
Sehr geehrter Herr Bürgermeister, meine lieben Landsleute in Neu-Ulm.
So, Mr. Mayor and all the famous fellow countrymen who are meeting here.
Ich spreche heute zu Ihnen als Heimatkreisbetreuer des Kreises Steinitz aus diesem Land, wo die Landsleute vor 120 Jahren ausgewandert sind nach Neu-Ulm.
And I'm talking to you as the keeper of the records and the history of the county of Bishop Steinitz, which is the area in Western Bohemia from which a great many, or practically all of the Bohemians in this area came from.
Vor einem Jahr bekam ich Briefe von meiner Freund Jan, die bei Transport gefunden wurden. Es war die schwere Zeit 1921, als mein Vater nach Neu-Ulm schrieb und bat die Verwandten, dass sie Lebensmittel nach Böhmen schicken möchten. Nach dem Zweiten Weltkrieg war eine schwere Zeit.
And about a year ago, he got letters from this community written originally to the George Faulkner family, actually his parents, asking for food and foodstuffs and clothing. And this was a linkage then from his family back in the 1920s, 40s to this particular region. And when I was here back in 1989 and gave this lecture, I promised at that time that we would have a coat of arms, a crest of the original county seat of Bishop Steinitz, cast in bronze, and that we would bring it at this time and hand it also to the city for a proper.
At this time, it really gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce to you the founder of the Minnesota German-Bohemian Heritage Society, Mr. Paulson.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow German-Bohemian friends, we come here tonight to celebrate our common cultural heritage. From the old world and the new, we come to celebrate the rich legacy that has been given to us by our forefathers. The common legacy that binds us all together, that makes us one people, German-Bohemians, Danish. We all have stories to tell. That is what history is all about. I'd like to share with you my personal story, the story of the discovery of my cultural legacy, of the development of to affect the German-Bohemian community in the wall. Old-time music, feather beds, clip-a-lace from the old country, sauerkraut, schmierkuchen, dumplings and pork, Hounsteins and Schell's beer, head cheese and sausage from Soffert's and Schnowig's meat markets. My love of nature and the outdoors, my religious faith centered on the goodness of God and His creation, the stories, songs, poems, and sayings that were handed down to me by my mother and my grandmother. All this cultural wealth made up the rich legacy that I brought from the wall.
Welcome to the Minnesota German-Bohemian Heritage Society Unveiling Program. I think you're going to be very impressed with our monument. And of course, one other person that needs to be thanked because of his work and talent, of course, is Wally Bladel from Bladel Bond. And of course, Tom and Dave Holla for their beautiful work on the fence. Imposing 11-foot monument that will be unveiled shortly will stand as a symbol of the contributions the Bohemians have made to this area. The granite base is topped by 3 bronze figures forming the statue. And of course, we all know the statue was cast by Leopold Hoffner. To begin today's program, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the Mayor of New Ulm, Mr. Red Wojciechowski. Red?
Thank you very much, Mr. Rubel, for the introduction. Distinguished guests from our foreign land, members of the City Council, ladies and gentlemen. There's little doubt in our minds that a half-century from today, the citizens will look back this afternoon, July 20th, 1991, as a special day of historic and notable significance. A day many will remember because of the love and the cultural ties that greatly enhanced the social lives of those German Bohemians who came here some 130 years ago. Yes, a day the true German Bohemians took real pride in their heritage. We salute and congratulate all of you who had something to do with this magnificent project. All of you are truly special. We would like to single out one special former New Ulmite who took it upon himself to organize the German-Bohemian Society, Mr. Bob Paulson of St. Paul. You will hear from him later. And I might point out his mother is sitting here in the front row in the red and white. I understand this afternoon it was really her idea that started this whole project. So somehow the truth does come out in the end. What was a dream for the society today is reality. The city of New Ulm is especially grateful to the New Ulm German-Bohemian Society for fostering this dream, for its dedication, commitment to a cause worthy of much community pride. It is fitting that the citizens of New Ulm join in expressing our appreciation for the many contributions Rudolf Kiefner has made to our community, and the sincere wish that we may enjoy many more years of fellowship with them. Mr. Kiefner. Well, in closing, I say thank you, God bless all of you, and this is really a special day in the history of our city of New Ulm. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Red. At this time, I'd like to introduce the president of our society, Mr. Paul Kretsch.
Around the ancestry of our organizations, preserving the culture. And let's hope
as I said, your children's children will know the story very, very well. It's a very important part of our history, and you're truly going to love what you see. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. At this time, please welcome the founder of the Society, Mr. Robert Paulson. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, fellow German-Bohemians and friends, we come today this afternoon to dedicate a monument to commemorate our German-Bohemian immigrant forefathers. It is noteworthy that after many months of searching, a site for the placement of this monument was chosen that had great significance to these early settlers. A park called German had significance because these people were ethnically German. They immigrated from Bohemia, a part of the Austrian Empire. It was not until much later that Bohemia formed a part of what is known as Czechoslovakia. With great care, they chose New Ulm as their destination. That this community was German was most important to them. Our monument overlooks the Minnesota River. The earliest immigrants arrived in New Ulm aboard the sternwheelers that plied the waters of this river, setting foot on the Brown County soil for the first time at the boat landing just south of here in Riverfront Park. These hardy souls began arriving here as early as 1856, just 2 short years after the founding of this city. With the coming of the Winona and St. Peter Railroad in 1871, our immigrant ancestors began to arrive from the coast by rail. In later years, they also traveled from St. Paul in Minneapolis aboard the Minneapolis and St. Louis Railroad. The railroads also provided immigrant employment for a great many German-Bohemian immigrants. Thus, it is significant that our monument overlooks the railroad yards and the New Ulm Depot. New Ulm was also, and still is, a major milling town. Our monument overlooks the sites of the various mills, notably that of the Eagle Roller Mill. Many of our forefathers were very poor when they arrived. Some came already owing the money for their passage. The mills provided much-needed employment for these early arrivals. And we must not forget the German-Bohemian ethnic neighborhoods, which were communities unto themselves, Goostown and Valahai. Because they spoke their own special Bohemian dialect, our grandparents and great-grandparents formed their own ethnic communities, complete with stores and shops. The Goostowners rarely climbed the hill to do business on Minnesota Street. They even consulted their own doctors and lawyers. They tended to keep to themselves. In the earliest days, the immigrants lived and worked in Goostown only long enough to earn the money needed to purchase their first farmland. In later years, however, when most of the prime farmland had been taken up, Goostown and Valahai became stable ethnic enclaves for the German-Bohemians, developing their own special character. Many stories are told about these unique neighborhoods and the people who lived there. Just down the hill and south on Center Street are the old bandstand and George's Ballroom, symbols of one of the most important contributions of the German-Bohemian people to the city of New Ulm, the state of Minnesota, and our country. Old-time music, the lifeblood of our ancestors. On many a Saturday night, one could hear the sounds of the old-time band at George's playing for wedding dances. And nearly every Sunday evening, large crowds would come here to German Park for the summer band concerts. From the Silver Cornet Band and the 2nd Regiment Band to the New Ulm Municipal Band. From the Lindmeyers and the Gogs to the Hofmeisters and the Meidels. These were all German-Bohemian bands. Dumpy Domeyer, Whoopi John Wilford, and countless many more made New Ulm and old-time music synonymous. All German-Bohemians. And now we come to the monument itself. A representation of an immigrant family, heads up, looking to the west, up towards Minnesota Street, the commercial center of New Ulm, where many became successful in business. The Poltas, the Wilfords, the Kretches, the Pankerts, the Arbas, the Mueller, Vogel, Schnobrig, Soffords, the lawyers, Flohr and Kuntz, the doctors, Seifert, Vogel, Eckstein, the tradesmen, Schwach,
Halle, Hofmeister, Gog, Ravensor, just to name a few. But the vast majority of our immigrant forefathers came to this country for one thing: land. There was an abundance of rich soil in Brown and Nicollet counties. After all, most of these immigrants worked the land in Bohemia. Looking to the north and the west, we see the steeple of Holy Trinity Church, and further still we see St. George's, what is known as God's country. The German-Bohemian people have always had a very personal relationship with their God, and an awareness of the manifestation of the goodness of God and the beauty of his creation. They were people close to the land, people of the earth. The center of their existence was their church. This is most graphically expressed by their magnificent symbols of their reverence for their God, namely the beautiful churches they erected: Holy Trinity, St. George's, St. Mary's in Sleepy Eye, and later St. Mary's in New Ulm. And it is further expressed by the fact that many retired farmers moved back into town to be near their church, Church of the Holy Trinity. With the erection of this monument, the German-Bohemian Heritage Society has ensured that for years to come, this place will have great significance for the descendants of these German-Bohemian immigrants. I can envision their great-grandchildren coming to this place as they identify themselves as German-Bohemians by seeing their family names cut into the granite tablets at the base of the monument. As they learn of their rich German-Bohemian culture and history by reading the text etched into the massive granite pedestal of this monument. And as they experience the feeling of hope, strength, determination, and of pride that is so expressively cast in the bronze faces of the immigrant family, I am very happy and proud that I was able to play a small part in the rekindling of the pride and the German-Bohemian heritage of this community. I am very proud to be one of you. I am proud to be called a Deutschfan. Thank you.
Thank you. Please welcome the sculptor of our monument, Mr. Leopold Hoffner. Interpreting will be Laverne Ripley.
Es ist für mich heute eine ganz große Ehre, dass ich als Bildhauer in Neu-Ulm stehen kann, und es ist ein großer Tag in meinem langen Bildhauerleben. Und mein Sohn fängt jetzt die Bildhauerei an, er ist mit uns und hat mir dabei geholfen.
It's a great pleasure to be here in the city of New Ulm. It's my first trip to the United States, and I'm not only proud to be here, but proud to announce that I am fortunate in having my son with me. My son is going to follow me and take up my career, and that's a great honor.
Als ich die Aufgabe bekommen habe, ist das Denken sehr weit von zu Hause nach hier. Aber es war nur eine Kilometerdistanz. Das Herz hat sehr schnell den Weg gefunden.
When I first got the task, the assignment to produce this monument, I began to mull over in my mind how extremely far away that was from my native country, currently Germany, originally myself being born in Bohemia. But then as I began to mull it over, I realized that that was only a distance of miles, because my heart made me feel intimately close and associated to these people.
So war das Arbeiten zu Hause auch ein Arbeiten eigentlich für meine Heimat.
Because in a real sense, as I began to produce the work, I realized that doing it for this community, I was in fact doing it for my own people, and in that sense, for my own general sense of being at home.
Und so freue ich mich, dass ich in eine so schöne Familie eingeordnet bin jetzt, und es ist in meinem Leben sicher ein Höhepunkt, und ich bedanke mich sehr.
And so, in a sense, I can say from the bottom of my heart that I feel not only in my own homeland here, but that I feel a part of this people as if it were my total extended family. And for that experience, I point out it has to be a high point in my life, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity to be here.
So ist ein Wunsch von mir, dass diese Familie auch Ihre Familie wird. Dankeschön.
And so the entire theme or topic is that the family that is created here in the monument symbolizes the total familial unity of all of us. And for that, I'm very grateful. Thank you. Please welcome the leader of the Egerländer Trotzengruppe, Mr. Giebner.
Sehr geehrter Herr Bürgermeister, meine lieben Freunde in Neu-Ulm.
So, Honorable Mayor and my friends here in New Ulm.
Für mich und die Egerländer aus Melsungen und Felsberg ist es ein historischer Tag, heute in Neu-Ulm zu sein.
For me and for the rest of my troop from Melsungen in West Germany, near Kassel, it's a great honor and a great pleasure, and in fact it's a historic day for us to be here today in New Ulm.
Ich danke dem Deutsch-Böhmen-Verein für das große Vertrauen, das sie mir gegeben haben, dieses Denkmal in Deutschland errichten zu können.
And I'd like, in fact, to thank the President and Board of Directors of the German-Bohemian Society here in New Ulm that they, in fact, entrusted to me much of the planning and coordination of the making and delivering of this monument.
Ich habe in meinem Freund Leopold Hafner einen vertrauten Mann gefunden, mit dem ich schon 5 Denkmäler in Deutschland errichtet habe. Ihm habe ich auch dieses Denkmal in Neu-Ulm anvertraut.
And I can report to you that when the plans were getting underway, I turned to my very valued friend Leopold Hafner, with whom I have already produced 5 different monuments back in Germany for different societies and communities. And so I respect this relationship that I have been permitted to enjoy with Mr. Hafner.
Wir bedanken uns bei der Deutsch-Böhmen-Vereinigung hier in Neu-Ulm, dass wir heute in den Vereinigten Staaten von Amerika aus dem freien Deutschland, wir sind wieder ein Land, kommen durften, um diese Feierstunde zu erleben.
And in fact, we'd like to thank this community and Heritage Fest, as well as the German-Bohemian Society, for having invited us so that we could come this time from the newly united and free total Germany to be present at this historic moment.
Möge das ganze Land Minnesota heute und in Zukunft hierher schauen. Es ist ein Denkmal der Verbundenheit zwischen Deutsch-Böhmen, den Egerländern und den Menschen hier in Neu-Ulm. Ich danke Ihnen.
And we would like to hope that this monument will become the symbol for not only this community, but for the whole state of Minnesota, a symbol of the unity and the friendship that exists between our home country, currently Germany, and of course the United States. And I thank you very much.
Rudy Kiefner, myself, will be in the front. Our Bohemian King, Kurt Eisen, and our honored Mayor, Red Wojciechowski, will be in the back. We'll see if it all comes off at the same time. Now we will sing the Bema Vault.
That's a German-Bohemian.
to our guests visiting us from Germany. The Egerlander Shopping Group, led by Rudolf Kiechner and Leopold Hoffner, the distinguished German-Bohemian sculptor who created the beautiful memorial statue that was unveiled in German Park yesterday.
fill us with your gifts, and make us always to serve you in faith, hope, and love. Grant this to our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. In 1989, as a point of history, many people say that the Berlin Wall fell. And on a certain level it did. Historically, they poked a hole through it. But in poking that hole and tearing out one small section that tore down the barriers of almost 4 generations of political and economic isolation. And it was able to begin the unification slowly between two peoples divided. In 1946, 3 million Sudeten Germans were expelled from Czechoslovakia, and they had to relocate. Some of whom came to the United States, and even to our own community, to start over again. In 1856, the Bohemian Catholics of southern Germany again immigrated to these United States, and many again settled in this area. And it is this weekend and yesterday that we celebrated the unveiling and the dedication of that memorial. A statue that stands for the values and the dreams that those immigrants had in their hearts. In 65 AD, St. Paul wrote a letter to the church. Take this, all of you, and eat it. This is my body, which will be given up for you. Robert and Ricky Paulson, who were directors of Waldorf singers from the cities. We'd also like to recognize our guests from Germany, the Nederlander Tropical Hoeve, the Nederlander Music Houten, and Father Henrik. And again, thank you for your presence here today. It is experiences like this that remind us that the world is a little smaller and that there is a sense of unity and of peace. Our celebration is ended. Let us go forth in peace to love and serve the Lord. For our closing, please join in singing Großer Gott on the back of the worship page, Großer Gott.
The Brown County Historical Society where the display is being held. A display of material culture was set up at the Brown County Historical Society. Churn, other farm materials. This panel depicts the piety of German-Bohemian people. Here we have some concertinas with buttons of chord Luthers. German-Bohemians were known for their lace making. At the opening of the display in a couple of days, there'll be a lady demonstrating this lace making, which has been brought over by their forefathers. Flipple sock, making the lace. This is Shadow Box. This is the wedding veil and photograph of my grandmother and grandfather, Joseph Helget, Matilda Ravitzer. Below it is the little youth chair that was crafted by my great-great-grandfather Wenzel Helget and his grandchildren. Next panel shows trout cutters and things used in the kitchen. Some clothing. This bonnet is a black damask bonnet worn by my great-great-grandmother Francesca Grossman, married George Ravitzer. Trunk. There's a photo of my grandmother, Matilda Ravitzer. And my grandfather, Joseph Helget. Some photos. Ravitzer Farm, George Ravitzer, old home. The chapel George Ravitzer built in his old hometown of Neuboy, Bohemia.